Hi there, this is Shauna from the Foiled Fox. Thanks for joining me. I am going to be demonstrating a new holiday card where I'm using Winter Wonder, which is a new stamp and die set by Papertrey Ink-Ink To Paper. It comes in these hold and fold pouches with a magnetic catch. And this particular stamp set has two panels, and it has the trees and deer and a few sentiments. And of course, it has a matching die set. This card has few supplies, making it great for something that you may want to make a lot of them. I'm going to have a piece of Bristol paper, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and then a white card base that is, when folded, 4 1/4 by 7, and then a piece of masking paper. I have this little bit of masking paper left over that's perfect for my snowbank. I'm just going to rip it across, just kind of creating a snowbank there. And I like to rip it because when I cut it, it has a harder edge, and I wanted a softer edge. And I'm just going to position it right on the bottom. I'm going to use some Distress Oxide inks onto this Bristol paper. You probably know that Bristol paper helps with ink blending. That's why I'm using it for this. And Distress Oxide inks really go on very smoothly. This one is spun sugar, and I'm putting it all over the panel so that I have some ink all over it, so I have even better blending. And I'm going to now use aged mahogany. I know that looks really stark, but this aged mahogany is going to give it a little bit of deepness. And then I'm going to use some festive berries in the center, and then a little bit more of the spun sugar. And I'm going to just start blending these. But first, at the bottom, I put the aged mahogany underneath, but now I'm putting seedless preserve because this just gives it the color tones that I want, but the aged mahogany underneath deepens that color. And now I'm just going to go back and forth, and I'm going to just smooth out these colors, but I want to maintain the gradation of color. And with that pretty much done, I'm going to just smooth it out a little bit more. And you could use any color scheme you'd like for this card. I happen to choose these colors. I like these for the holidays. And now I'm going to add some snow. There's a wonderful snow stamp in this, and I could have white heat embossed this snow on there by stamping it with Versamark ink and then using some white embossing powder. But I found just using a little bit of this P.H. Martin bleed proof white ink. I use this for calligraphy usually, but I often use it for these kinds of projects where I want a really white splatter, for instance, or like this, I'm just have spread it out onto my mat there, and I'm just lightly stamping it with white and then stamping it onto the panel. I'm going to let that dry. In the meanwhile, I'm going to take this this die set, keeping it all intact. I took a piece of white cardstock. I cut the entire everything, just left everything intact. I'm still keeping it intact. I put it into my stamp positioner, and now I'm going to just lay these stamps on top. And you can, it's very easy to do because you have the outline of the stamp, well, the die, and because you know the cut lines where it is, and so you can just position the stamp right over top. And I'm going to first start with the trees. I'm using True Black, and I'm just inking those up. And of course, the reason why I put them in the stamp positioner is because in case I need to stamp it twice, which often I do, I can do that and it'll stay right in position. That's another reason why I like to keep all these dies intact and cut them all at the same time, is they don't shift around. It's a very slick way to keep everything just in its place, and you're not fussing about trying to keep it taped down or stuck down with magnets. It just stays right in position. Now I did the same thing with these deer. I put them in position and then stuck them to the door of the stamp positioner, stamped them with weather vane ink, and now I'm going to stamp this tree. Has another piece to it, another layer to it, and I'm going to stamp it first with soft stone. I'm using all Papertrey inks here, and then now I'm going to use fresh snow So the first one was soft stone, now it's fresh snow, and I'm just kind of softening that and giving it kind of a white glow. This fresh snow is a wonderful ink to use. And then with a little tiny blending brush, I'm just going to blend on some harvest gold for the moon, or you can call it a sun, whatever way you would like to have it, like to decide what it is. And then with that all complete, there's very few pieces, as you can see, so I'm going to just punch them out. And then we'll get ready, we'll get the background back and get ready to finish out our card. And now I'm going to just take that panel that we had completed, and the snow is all dry, putting some double stick tape on it, and then just going to position it onto the top of this card with a little bit of the white border showing. And next I need to put the sentiment in, and I am going to use a sentiment from this stamp set called Let It Snow. It's a great font, and I have positioned it all in place in the stamp positioner, stamping it with true black ink. And that went on really smoothly. I do like to use, again, that stamp positioner for sentiments because I want them to not have any blank spots. I want them to have a smooth and consistent color on them. Now I have positioned these trees on there, like where I've put them, and now I'm just gluing them down. There's very few pieces to this card, as you can see, which is another reason why it makes it great if you want to mass produce or even just making a few of them. It's very fast to do, especially when you just cut out all of the dies and then keep them all intact and then stamp them the way I did. I put that moon or sun, however you'd like it, in place, and then put the deer there. Now I have put some foam tape on the back of the deer so they pop up just a little bit, and of course nothing would be complete without me fussing with them a little bit and moving them and that's why I don't push them down really hard at first. But now I like how they came out. And so here you see it all completed, and I just love that background. You can use it, like I had said before, you can use any color scheme. It's really a dramatic card and a super simple one to do. And I really enjoyed doing it, and I hope you enjoyed being here. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, we'd be over the moon if you would subscribe. Here's a few items too that we've used: Winter Wonder, the stamp and die set, a few oxide inks, and a few Papertrey inks. But the whole supply list and a few other close-ups are on our blog. You can just use the link down below or go to foilfox.com/blog. And also on our blog is tons more inspiration, and it'll take you to our store as well, where all these products are available. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.